When an arrogant HR boss spots a black intern filing papers in the office, she unleashes a torrent of insults, calling him unqualified and out of place, completely unaware he's a founder's son undercover. And this act of bias is about to ignite a company-wide revolution that exposes hidden discrimination and forges unbreakable change. The sleek offices of Peak Dynamics in Atlanta hummed with the rhythm of corporate life. Keyboards clacking like distant thunder. Phones buzzing. The air crisp with the scent of fresh coffee and printer ink. At 22, Jordan Hayes blended into the background, his lanky frame dressed in a simple polo shirt and khakis, a lanyard swinging from his neck marked Intern. His short dreadlocks were neatly tied back, his sharp, intelligent eyes scanning files as he organized a stack of reports at a corner desk. But Jordan wasn't just any intern. He was the son of Marcus Hayes, the black founder and CEO of Peak Dynamics, a consulting firm revolutionizing urban development for underserved communities. Undercover on his father's request, Jordan was there to uncover inefficiencies, or worse, the subtle biases eroding the company's core values. Jordan had grown up in the shadow of his father's success, watching Marcus build Peak from a one-man operation in their garage to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. "See the world as it is, son," Marcus had said, his voice steady during family dinners. "Then change it." Jordan, fresh from college with a degree in business ethics, had volunteered for this sting. He mopped up coffee spills, fetched lunches, and filed papers, all while noting the microaggressions. Black colleagues passed over from meetings, whispers about affirmative action hires. It mirrored his own experiences, being the only black kid in advanced classes, teachers doubting his work. But he stayed calm, his composed expression hiding a defiant fire. Enter Vivian Caldwell, the mid-50s HR director, striding through the open-plan office like she owned it. White, with short blonde hair perfectly coiffed and a polished skirt suit hugging her frame, Vivian's stern face and calculated gaze screamed authority. She climbed the ranks through ruthless efficiency, but whispers hinted at her favoritism toward traditional hires. Spotting Jordan at the desk, she froze, her pursed lips curling into a sneer. "You there," Vivian barked, her voice cutting through the hum. "What are you doing with those files? That's not intern work. It's for qualified staff." Heads turned. Co-workers pausing mid-conversation, a few exchanging uneasy glances. Jordan straightened, meeting her gaze evenly. "Just organizing, ma'am. Part of my duties." Vivian's eyes narrowed, her furrowed brows deepening. "Organizing? Looks like you're meddling. We don't need unqualified help messing up important documents." The word unqualified hung heavy, laced with implication. Jordan's pulse quickened, but he didn't flinch. He'd faced this before, professors questioning his essays, assuming plagiarism. "I've been trained, Ms. Caldwell. If there's an issue..." "Issue." Vivian laughed, a sharp, condescending bark. "The issue is people like you thinking you belong here. This is Peak Dynamics, not some charity program. Hand those over and get back to fetching coffee. Or better yet, find the door." Gasps rippled through the office. A young Latina co-worker, wide-eyed, pulled out her phone discreetly. Jordan felt a familiar sting, his mind flashing to his father's stories of boardrooms where his ideas were dismissed because of his skin. But he breathed deep, his defiant jawline set. "With respect, ma'am, I'm doing my job." Vivian's face flushed, her stern expression turning venomous. "Respect? You haven't earned it. You're out, fired. Pack your things and leave before I call security." The office fell silent, tension thick as fog. Jordan's heart pounded, but a small smile tugged at his lips. He reached into his pocket slowly, pulling out his phone. "Before I go, mind if I make a quick call?" Vivian crossed her arms, triumphant. "Call whoever." "You're done." Jordan dialed, his voice low. "Dad, it's time." The line clicked. Vivian snorted. "Dad? This isn't family hour." But the elevator dinged and outstepped Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old founder, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire. Employees whispered, phones recording. "Vivian," Marcus said, his voice booming like quiet thunder. "What's going on?" Vivian blanched, her polished facade cracking. "Mr. Hayes." This in turn was mishandling files. I handled it. Marcus's eyes locked on Jordan, who removed his lanyard, revealing a hidden badge. Jordan Hayes, Special Advisor. The office erupted in murmurs. Vivian's mouth gaped. What? He's your son? Jordan nodded, his sharp eyes now gleaming. Undercover, on Dad's orders, to see how Peak treats its people. Marcus stepped forward. And you just showed us everything, Vivian. Bias like yours poisons our mission. Flashback. Marcus in his garage, coding late nights, facing investors who saw only his color. He'd built Peak to lift others. But Vivian's actions echoed those barriers. Vivian's face paled. I didn't know it was a mistake. Marcus shook his head. A mistake that sidelined diverse talent, promoted favorites. Complaints about you stack high. Black employees overlooked, mocked. He turned to the crowd. Peak stands for equity. Today, we start fixing it. Applause trickled, then swelled. But as security approached Vivian, Jordan's phone buzzed, an anonymous text. She's not alone. Dig deeper, the board involved. The insult had sparked a fire, but what Jordan uncovered next would threaten Peak's very foundation. The Atlanta skyline glowed outside the glass walls of Peak Dynamics' executive suite, but inside, the air crackled with tension. Jordan Hayes, 22, stood at a conference table, his lanky frame now in a sharp blazer over his polo and khakis, short dreadlocks neatly tied back, sharp, intelligent eyes burning with purpose. The sting exposing Vivian Caldwell's racism had gone viral on X, with hashtag Peak Justice trending, as employees shared clips of her humiliating outburst. But the anonymous text, she's not alone. Dig deeper, the board's involved, hinted at a deeper rot. As the black son of Peak's founder, Jordan had uncovered bias in his father's company, and now he'd root out its source to protect their legacy. Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old founder, and so, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, sat beside Jordan. You did good, son, he said, his voice steady. But this text means we're not done. Jordan nodded, his defiant jawline set, recalling his college days facing professors who doubted his brilliance. Peak was built to uplift communities like the one he grew up in, Atlanta's West End, where Mother, Lena, still ran a community center. Betrayal within Peak felt personal. Vivian's firing was just a start. Jordan met with Aisha Khan, the mid-30s civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze radiating resolve in a secure office. Aisha spread documents across the table. Vivian wasn't acting alone, she said. HR records show her fast-track promotions for white hires while stalling black and Latino employees. 2 board members, Richard Tate and Ellen Brooks, approved her policies. Jordan's pulse quickened, thinking of his father's late nights building Peak against racist investors. Why would the board back her? He asked. Aisha's eyes narrowed. Power. Tate and Brooks are tied to Elite Consulting, a rival firm pushing to merge with Peak. They've been undermining your father's diversity initiatives to weaken Peak's stock. Jordan's mind flashed his childhood, watching his dad fend off corporate sharks. Now, the sharks were inside. They needed proof. Jordan reached out to Maria Chun, a 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now steady as she clutched a laptop in a quiet cafe. I hacked HR servers, Maria whispered, fidgeting with a pen. Tate and Brooks emailed Vivian about streamlining, code for sidelining minority staff. They're planning to push a merger vote next week. Jordan's heart sank, picturing his younger sister, Amara, 16, who saw Peak as her future. Will you testify? He asked. Maria nodded. For my son, he deserves a fair world. Back at Peak, Jordan and Marcus convened a crisis team, including Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her dark hair in a tight bun and sharp eyes focused. Sarah presented a report. Elite's merger would gut our community programs, affordable housing, green energy grants. Jordan's jaw tightened. Those programs were his father's dream, born from West End struggles. We need more than emails, Marcus said. Bank records, meetings, something to nail them. Jamal Carter, the 35-year-old black forensic accountant, his meticulous expression steady behind glasses, Join via video. I trace payment from Elite to Tate's offshore account. $300,000, he said. Brooks got similar deposits. They're selling Peak out. Jordan's mind raced his father's advice. Truth is your weapon, son. They had evidence. But exposing the board risked Peak's stability. That evening, Jordan confronted Tate in a boardroom, Marcus at his side. Tate, a 60-year-old white man with thinning gray hair, a stern frown and furrowed brows, scoffed. You're overreaching, kid. This is business, not a crusade. Jordan played Maria's hacked emails on a screen, Tate's voice boasting about keeping Peak traditional. The room froze. Ellen Brooks, a 50-year-old white woman with a pinched face and tight bun, paled. This is a setup, she stammered. Marcus's voice boomed. It's accountability. You betrayed our mission. The board, shaken, voted to suspend Tate and Brooks pending investigation. X-Buzz, hashtag Peak Fights Back trended as employees rallied. Jordan's exposing the truth. But as Tate stormed out, he hissed at Jordan, You think this ends here? Elite's got bigger plans, and you're in their crosshairs. At home, Jordan sat with his mother, Lena, a 43-year-old community organizer with warm eyes and braided hair. Amara, her wide, curious eyes gleaming, showed X-posts praising Jordan. You're a hero, big bro, she said. Lena squeezed his hand. You're shaking things up, Jordan. Be careful. His phone buzzed. A cryptic email from an Elite insider. They're targeting your dad next. Check the merger fine print. The sting had sparked a revolution, but a darker plot loomed over Peak. The Atlanta skyline loomed like a silent witness outside Peak Dynamics' glass wall boardroom, where the air pulsed with the weight of betrayal. Jordan Hayes, 22, stood tall at the head of the table, his lanky frame sharp in a blazer over a polo and khakis, short dreadlocks tied back, sharp, intelligent eyes blazing with purpose. Exposing Vivian Caldwell's racism had sparked a firestorm on X, with hashtag Peak Justice trending for the anonymous email. They're targeting your dad next. Check the merger fine print. Revealed a deeper plot threatening his father's legacy. As the black son of Peak's founder, Jordan was determined to protect the company his father, Marcus, had built to uplift communities like Atlanta's West End. Marcus Hayes, 55, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, sat beside Jordan, his intense eyes scanning reports. This merger with Elite Consulting is a trap, he said, his voice steady. They want to gut our community programs. Jordan nodded, his defiant jawline set, recalling his college days debating ethics while professors dismissed his ideas. Peak was his father's dream, affordable housing, green energy, and he wouldn't let it be stolen. Aisha Khan, the mid-30s civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze radiating resolve, spread documents across the table. The fine print gives Elite control over hiring and contracts, she said. Tate and Brooks pushed it to favor their allies, sidelining black and minority vendors. Jordan's pulse quickened, thinking of his mother, Lena, running a community center in the West End, where Peak's programs had built playgrounds. How do we stop it? He asked. Aisha's eyes gleamed. We need hard evidence, meetings, payments. Maria's hack gave us a start, but we need more. Jordan turned to Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, joining via video from a secure location, her nervous eyes now resolute, clutching a laptop. I found a hidden server, Maria said, fidgeting with a pen. Tate met Elite CEO Harold Vance, and last month they discussed tanking Peak stock to force the merger. Jordan's heart sank, picturing his sister, Amara, 16, who dreamed of working at Peak. Can you get recordings? He asked. Maria nodded. Risky, but I'll try. Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her dark hair in a tight bun, presented a vendor report. Elite's allies overcharged us $5 million, approved by Tate and Brooks. Meanwhile, black-owned firms like GreenPath were blacklisted. Jordan's mind flashed to his father's garage, where Marcus coded late nights to defy racist investors. Now, the board was betraying that fight. Jamal Carter, the 35-year-old black forensic accountant, his meticulous expression steady behind glasses, joined in person, spreading financials. Tate and Brooks funneled elite payments through shell companies, he said. I've got bank records, $400,000 each. Jordan's jaw tightened, recalling his father's words. Truth is your weapon, son. They had evidence. But exposing the board risked a shareholder revolt. That afternoon, Jordan and Aisha infiltrated a clandestine elite consulting dinner, an upscale Atlanta club, posing as caterers. Jordan, in a waiter's uniform, his sharp eyes scanning, carried a tray, while Aisha, in a sleek dress with a hidden recorder, blended into the staff. They spotted Richard Tate, 60, with thinning gray hair, a stern frown and furrowed brows, laughing with Harold Vance, a 65-year-old white man with a hawkish face and silver hair, smugly toasting. Hayes is done, Vance said. The merger's ours. Aisha's recorder caught every word, but a guard eyed Jordan, hand twitching toward a radio. They slipped out, hearts pounding with the recording. Back at Peak, Marcus convened the board, minus Tate and Brooks. Sarah played the audio, drawing gasps. Ellen Brooks, 50, her pinched face paling, stammered, "This is a misunderstanding." Marcus's voice boomed. "It's betrayal. You sold out our mission." The board voted to suspend them, but Tate hissed at Jordan, "You're playing with fire, kid." Vance's friends in high places. That night, Jordan sat with Lena, 43, a community organizer with warm eyes and braided hair, and Amara, her wide, curious eyes gleaming at their Atlanta home. Amara showed ex-posts. Jordan's a legend. Hashtag Peak Fights Back. Lena gripped his hand. "You're shaking the system, baby. Be careful." Jordan nodded, but his phone buzzed. A leaked board memo. Vance is pushing a shareholder coup. He's got dirt on Marcus. Something from the past. The fight had exposed bias, but a darker secret threatened to topple Peak. The Atlanta skyline cast a fiery glow through the glass walls of Peak Dynamics' boardroom, where Jordan Hayes stood, his lanky frame sharp in a blazer over a polo and khakis, short dreadlocks tied back, and sharp, intelligent eyes blazing with determination. At 22, the black son of Peak's founder had exposed Vivian Caldwell's racism and the board betrayal, but the leaked memo, Vance is pushing a shareholder coup. He's got dirt on Marcus, signaled a deeper threat to his father's legacy. With hashtag Peak Justice trending on X, Jordan knew stopping Elite Consulting's merger meant confronting a secret from Marcus's past that could shatter Peak Dynamics. Marcus Hayes, 55, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, gripped a report, his intense eyes troubled. "They're digging into 2005, he told Jordan quietly. "A land deal I made to fund Peak, shady partners, but I cut ties." Vance must have found the records. Jordan's defiant jawline set, recalling his college debates where professors dismissed his ethics papers. "We own it, Dad," he said. "Truth is our weapon." Marcus nodded, but worry lingered. Aisha Khan, the mid-30s civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze unwavering, spread documents across the table. Vance's dirt is a contract tying Marcus to a shell company. Looks like fraud, but was legal. He's twisting it to sway shareholders. Jordan's pulse quickened, thinking of his mother, Lena, whose West End community center relied on Peak's grants. "We need to counter before Vance's speech," he said. Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina VP of operations, her dark hair in a tight bun, presented a financial analysis. Elite's merger would slash our community programs, 80% of our affordable housing funds. Jordan's mind flashed to his sister, Amara, 16, who saw Peak as her future. "We expose Vance's bribes first," he said. "Maria's got more." Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, met Jordan in a dimly lit parking garage, her nervous eyes resolute, clutching a USB drive. "Vance paid off a regulator to freeze Peak's contracts," she whispered, fidgeting with a pen. "I've got emails and a recording from his office." Jordan's heart lifted, picturing his father's garage where Peak was born. "Will you present at the shareholder meeting?" he asked. Maria nodded. "For my son's world." Jamal Carter, the 35-year-old black forensic accountant, his meticulous expression steady behind glasses, joined them via video. Vance's payments to Tate and Brooks came through Lunartech, his old firm, he said. I've got bank records. $600,000 total. Jordan's jaw tightened, recalling his father's advice. Stand tall, son. They had evidence, but Vance's clout meant a fierce fight. Jordan and Aisha infiltrated Vance's pre-meeting dinner at an Atlanta rooftop restaurant, posing as staff. Jordan, in a waiter's uniform, his sharp eyes scanning, carried a tray, while Aisha, in a sleek dress with a hidden recorder, blended in. They spotted Harold Vance, 65, his hawkish face and silver hair smug, toasting Richard Tate, 60, with thinning gray hair and a stern frown, and Ellen Brooks, 50, her pinched face tight. Marcus is finished, Vance sneered. The coup's tomorrow. Aisha's recorder caught it, but a guard's suspicious stare forced him to slip out, hearts racing. Back at Peak, Marcus rallied the board, Sarah presenting Maria's emails and Jamal's financials. Vance is rigging the vote, Marcus said, his voice thunderous. Tate and Brooks, suspended but present, stammered denials. Ellen's face paled, Tate's brows furrowed. The board voted to block the merger vote, pending a DOJ probe, but Vance's influence loomed. X buzzed. Hashtag Peak Fights Back trended, as employees posted. Jordan and Marcus are unstoppable. That night, Jordan sat with Lena, 43, a community organizer with warm eyes and braided hair, and Amara, her wide, curious eyes gleaming, in their Atlanta home. Amara showed X. You're a legend, Jordan. Lena gripped his hand. You're shaking the system, baby. Stay sharp. Jordan nodded, but his phone buzzed, a hacked voice message from Vance. Hayes, your son's in deep. We've got a whistleblower who'll bury you both. The merger fight had exposed corruption, but new betrayal was rising. The Atlanta skyline shimmered under a golden dawn, its light pouring into the executive auditorium of Peak Dynamics, where Jordan Hayes stood on stage, his lanky frame sharp in a tailored blazer over a polo and khakis, short dreadlocks tied back, and sharp, intelligent eyes blazing with resolve. At 22, the black son of Peak's founder had exposed Vivian Caldwell's racism, Richard Tate and Ellen Brooks' betrayal, and Harold Vance's merger plot, making hashtag Peak Justice a viral rallying cry on X. But Vance's hacked voicemail, Hayes, your son's in deep. We got a whistleblower who'll bury you both, revealed a final threat, a whistleblower with dirt on Marcus's past. Jordan knew the shareholder meeting would decide Peak's future, built by his father to uplift communities like Atlanta's West End. Marcus Hayes, 55, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, stood beside Jordan, his intense eyes steady despite the storm. The whistleblower's a plant, Marcus whispered. Vance dug up my 2005 land deal. Legal but messy. They'll twist it as fraud. Jordan's defiant jawline set, recalling his college days proving doubters wrong. We'll own it, Dad, he said. Truth wins. Aisha Khan, the mid-30s civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze radiating determination, clutched the tablet. The whistleblower is Carla Evans, a former civil fired from mismanagement, she said. Vance paid her to leak doctored records. Jordan's pulse quickened, thinking of his mother, Lena, whose West End Community Center thrived on Peak's grants. We need to discredit her before Vance's speech, he said. Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her dark hair in a tight bun, presented a dossier. Carla's records are fake. Jamal's financials prove Marcus cleared the 2005 deal. Jordan's mind flashed to his sister, Amara, 16, who saw Peak as her future. We hit first, he said, with Maria's evidence. Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now resolute, met Jordan in a secure office, clutching a USB drive. I hacked Carla's emails, she said, fidgeting with a pen. She's meeting Vance tonight to finalize the leak. Jordan's heart lifted, picturing his father's garage where Peak was born. Can you get us a location? He asked. Maria nodded. For my son's future. Jamal Carter, the 35-year-old black forensic accountant, his meticulous expression steady behind glasses, spread documents. Carla's payments from Vance, $200,000. Traced to elite shell companies, he said. Jordan's jaw tightened, recalling Marcus's advice. Stand tall, son. They had the truth, but Vance's influence meant a public fight. That night, Jordan and Aisha tailed Carla to an Atlanta hotel, posing as guests. Jordan, in a hoodie to blend in, his sharp eyes scanning, followed Aisha in a sleek jacket with a hidden recorder. They overheard Carla, a 50-year-old white woman with a pinched face and graying bob, telling Vance, 65, his hawkish face smug with silver hair. The fraud story's ready. Marcus is done. Aisha's recorder caught it, but a guard stare forced a quick exit. At the shareholder meeting, Jordan took the stage, cameras streaming live. Peak stand for equity, he began, his voice clear. Vance's lies end now. He played Maria's hacked emails and Aisha's recording, exposing Carla's pay betrayal. The crowd gasped. Shareholders whispered. Vance, in the front row, his hawkish face crumpling, stood protest, but Marcus cut in, his voice thunderous. I made mistakes in 2005, but I fixed them. Vance profits off division. Sarah presented Jamal's financials, proving Marcus's innocence. Tate and Brooks, suspended, sat silent, their faces pale. The board blocked the merger. Shareholders cheered. X erupted. Hashtag peak wins trended, as employees posted. Jordan and Marcus are legends. Vance faced DOJ charges, Carla confessed, and Peak stock soared. At a press conference in Peak's lobby, where Vivian had insulted Jordan, he declared, "We're doubling our diversity fund and hiring black and brown vendors. Peak is for all." Applause thundered, Amara beaming in the crowd. That night, at home with Lena, 43, her warm eyes and braided hair glowing, and Amara, her wide, curious eyes proud, Jordan exhaled. Lena hugged him. "You changed the game, baby." Amara showed X. "You're our hero, Jordan." Marcus clasped his shoulder. "You made Peak stronger, son." Weeks later, Peak's community programs expanded, empowering West End families. But as Jordan signed a new vendor deal, a faint email signature caught his eye, a crescent moon symbol, hinting at a new rival's rise. Prejudice builds walls, but truth tears them down. Courage reshapes the future. Subscribe and share to join our fight for justice. A new shadow looms. What's next for Peak? Stay tuned.